Alice Johnson to me is just, Freddie never gets her. And she has such vulnerability and innocence, alcoholic father. Her mother's died. Okay. Me and my brother are like trying to survive on our own. And then we have this monster come into our life.
Hey there everyone, and welcome to this special Halloween episode of Den of Horror. Today we are in the presence of true legend, Lisa Wilcox, a name I'm sure you all know. She's more than just an actress though. She's the heart and soul behind one of the most iconic characters in horror history, Alice Johnson, from A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. In A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Lisa's portrayal of Alice Johnson elevated the franchise to new heights as it became the highest grossing film in the Nightmare on Elm Street series until Freddy vs. Jason came along. But her contribution goes beyond box office numbers. It's the way that she brought Alice to life that connected with us on a personal level. Yet there's more to her than just her on-screen presence. Her journey to becoming a horror icon is a tale of determination and the same kind of bravery Alice displayed. Today, we're going to discover how Lisa drew from her own childhood trauma and experience to breathe life into Alice Johnson. We'll delve into what it was like for her to work alongside the legendary Robert Englund, who portrayed Freddy Krueger, of course, how she landed the role, the impact that this role had on her life, as well as the impact that these films have had on the lives of her own fans. Lisa Wilcox, a great actress, as well as a true horror fan. So without further ado, welcome Lisa Wilcox to Den of Horror. Thank you so much. I'm sure that you would rather be spending time with your wonderful family than with me, but thank you so much for taking time out.
And actually, tonight I want to spend it with my dog watching TV. I don't think I've watched TV in like 8 days, 10 days.
Really, that long?
Watched my favorite shows. But I'm so happy we got this coordinated and happy to be speaking with you.
You are the first actress on Den of Horror, so I really couldn't think of a more perfect person, to honor us in this show.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's jump straight into it. Into it, Lisa. Okay, so I mean, we have Laurie Strode, we have Sidney Prescott, of course, we have Nancy Thompson, all these iconic, let's call them scream queens. And by the way, I don't think the slasher genre gets enough credit for creating really strong female protagonists, right? And of course, let's not forget Alice Johnson. I mean, we can't forget that one. So I'd like to start this off by asking you, Lisa, in your opinion, what set her apart from the other queen of screams? What made her so endearing? What made her different? And also, just as a double barrel question, how much Lisa Wilcox, the person, do we actually see in Alice Johnson, this iconic character that you helped create?
Well, I mean, I love all those other characters. I've always loved horror since I was a little girl. And I'll tell you later, I mean, that all happened because in the old days, Saturday was cartoon day. So I grew up in Missouri, Midwest. We have a basement. The whole basement is our playground. We had a piano down there. We had this fabulous rainbow 1970s rug. In the winter, we would roll it up and roller skate downstairs in the basement. It was really our playground. And we had a TV down there. So Saturdays was pajamas, watch cartoons all morning. Then at noon was The Monkees. Remember the show The Monkees?
I wasn't even in the States, so I probably don't remember.
But you have to look up The Monkees. Oh my gosh. Anyway, and then all afternoon would be horror films, the good old fashioned black and whites, Dracula's, Frankenstein, Twilight Zone, that kind of thing. So I fell in love with being scared a very, very long time ago. So it's kind of interesting that I ended up in that genre. Alice Johnson to me is just, Freddie never gets her. And she has such vulnerability and innocence, alcoholic father. Her mother's died. Okay. Me and my brother are like trying to survive on our own. And then we have this monster come into our life. But I believe Alice truly is a final girl because she never comes back to life. Like Heather's character, I mean, she actually does die in 3, right. But they find other ways to bring her back,
That's
as
right.
herself and that kind of thing. But Alice never got killed, she survived. So to me, that's a true final girl.
Right. Yeah. And I also, to be honest with you, I watched the movie again. What was Saturday by me again. I just wanted to freshen it up again. And it was actually like watching it a few years later. It was quite amazing because she really does have an interesting sort of story arc. The way that she starts out as very, very innocent and endearing girl next door type of character, and then she becomes
She was a nerd. She would listen. They when I got the role, they were like, if you saw my 8x10 that my agent submitted for the role of Alice,
Yeah.
I'm like a beauty queen cheerleader girl. I had virgin platinum blonde hair, all the 80s makeup. No, and so they didn't audition me in the beginning. I did not look the role, understandably, right?
Yeah.
But then they couldn't find the actress to play Alice, so they went through their trash pile, and there I was, and I finally got the opportunity. And Annette Benson, who was the casting director from Nightmare 1 through Nightmare 5, Annette Benson was, and she and I are friends, and she's the one who's told me the story. They went through hundreds of actresses looking for their Alice, right? And I got the script and I read it, and I'm a trained actress. I had UCLA, went to a theater arts degree, and had done tons of theater, and all that. And I totally bonded with Alice because Alice is so me. Part of the question you asked is we as a family, we moved a lot, and it's so hard to make friends in elementary school and all that. And, I didn't wear makeup. I read books. I was a bookworm. I loved my whole brain and imagination went into characters in books since I could read. In fact, the first novel I read was Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, classics.
And if you all haven't read it, it's a thick one, but it is great. I read it at 10 years old. Now, I'm supposed to go to sleep in bed at like 8 at night because there's school in the morning. Good night, Mom and Dad. And then I had an electric blanket. It was winter, and I used my electric blanket light to read this book, probably till 4 a.m, and then be up. So that's how fascinated I was with rich material, at a very, very young age.
Wow, so we do definitely then see a lot of Lisa Wilcox in Alice Johnson.
You saw a lot of Lisa Wilcox, absolutely, absolutely.
Great. And I think I honestly believe that's what makes her so different and special, right? She has a quietness and an introspectiveness which makes her